Hi, Kevin Matthew and Sam Matthew from Made at 94 with a wedding. Loads of other videos. The whole point of it is that we have a planning guide from the start to the finish of your wedding planning process so that you get your perfect wedding. Everything from the key questions you need to ask your videographer, your photographer, to what you need to be looking for in a wedding, to this one, the guest list. And on other ones as well, I'm interviewing specialisms, so experts in their own field, hair and makeup, florists as well. So, the guest list. How are you going to decide what to do and who to invite to your wedding? I'm going to ask Sam a bunch of questions. So what about the whole day or the nighttime split? How do you split it?
So you need to decide, you need to find out who, I can't read because I haven't got my glasses on.
We'll cut there. Well, we're not going to cut, but we're going to cut, if you know what I mean. The norm. I need to stop saying the norm in videos and it's got the word the norm there. Anyway, sorry, let's get back to it. Splitting the whole day and splitting the evening guests.
Right, well first of all you need to, once you've chosen your venue, you may be working out your venue based on how many guests it can hold, because you might want a lot of day guests and then a few evening guests, or vice versa. You might only want a few day guests and then a massive amount of evening guests. So that's the first thing.
I've got a question then. You've spurred me. Once you've got your budget set, would you recommend doing the guest list before the venue then? Or having a rough idea of, or would you go venue first?
Some people know that they've got a massive family and they're inviting absolutely everyone.
Yeah.
Some people might feel like they have to invite absolutely everyone, but actually choosing a venue that holds smaller amounts means that you can take them out of the equation without offending people too much. Or some people might actually just choose to have a small wedding like we did. It's all just personal choice, really.
So the questions I've got here that you need to answer yourself is, are you going to have all the guests there for the whole day and then that's it, nobody else coming? Or will you be splitting it between day guests and evening guests? That's the question. And then I've got here about the venue and the caterers and the price per head and how many guests your venue can hold.
Yeah, so again, with your daytime guests, you'll normally have a package for, just an example, if you've got 60 people come in for the day, they'll give you a price for the 60 people or 70 people, 80 people, etc, etc. And then they will give you a price either per evening guest, per head, or say you can have a maximum of an extra 40 people to the evening and it will be X amount. That's usually how it works.
And anything over that, so if you've got they've got a 50 guest price, then they'll have an additional price per person above that 50 for your day guest and stuff. This is a good one Sam came up with, is create rules and limitations so no one gets offended.
So what it means is that,
does that make sense?
Your partner might be really close to their cousins and want to invite all their cousins, whereas you might not have many cousins, or you might not want to invite your cousins. What I would suggest to do is both of you write a list of who you want to invite, so family, friends, mutual friends, and then it kind of really goes from there, depending on your numbers. It might be that you have to take someone out and say, I'm happy for them just to come to the evening, or I really want them to come to the day. It's no one can choose for you who you have to your wedding. It is something that you have to decide between yourselves.
Adults only, babes in arms.
A lot of people now actually do have adult only weddings, but within the modern age you've got couples that do have children of their own, and obviously they want them to be included in the day, and I'm sure that your guests would expect them to be included in the day, even though you're requesting that they don't bring their children if they have them. You do need to make it clear on your invitations, because some people might assume if that you're putting to Jamie and Robbie are invited to the wedding of, they might just assume that their three
Families
kids are
as well.
invited as well. So again, what some people do is they'll put in a little note, a little poem to say that although they love your children dearly, that you could also do a night off. Most people won't be offended. Some people will be offended, but most people won't. A lot of people like an excuse to not take their kids to a wedding.
What about having your family or your closest family? For example, we had our kids with us.
We had we at the time had three, so we had our three children, and then your sister's little girl, but she was 8 weeks old. So we did say to friends, babes in arms. So we didn't want children running around, as awful as that sounds.
Because of the area. It wasn't
because of the venue
right,
that we got married in.
Yeah.
And babes in arms, obviously, if you've got a little tiny baby, no one's going to expect you to leave the baby at home. I would
doubt it very
think,
much. Parents inviting people.
Yes, I mean,
how do you deal with that?
Kind of gone are the days where the parents pay for the whole wedding. So a lot of the wedding budget now is either paid for by the couple themselves. Family might contribute, so your mum might say, well, I'll buy your flowers or I'll buy your dress. They're not so heavily involved now.
Would you give them a set number then? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you could say if you might be really close to some of your parents' friends anyway, or you could say, right, your mum and dad can have X amount of friends and your mum and dad can have X amount of friends. Kind of leave it at that. It's entirely up to you again, because if they're not contributing and you're paying for the whole day, obviously you're going to want to prioritise who you want rather than, as awful as it sounds, who your parents want.
Plus ones.
This is always a difficult situation because as you get older, you don't see your friends as much. So it might be that you've not met your friend's partner or your cousin's partner, but they're living with them or they've been with them for a substantial amount of time. Personally, and I know this again isn't about me, if I was living with Kevin, invited to a wedding and he wasn't invited, I'd probably be pretty offended that he hadn't been invited. Unless it was a really small intimate wedding and there was just going to be a table of the girls or what have you. But if everyone else has been invited with their partners, I don't know. That's a really tricky one, because if you've not met them, you might think, well, why do I want to pay for someone at my wedding that I've not even met? I mean, if they've only been going out for a couple of weeks. Yeah,
or it's your work friends who you get on really well with.
Yeah, you can have a table of work friends, and then their partners could come in the evening.
Good point. The bridal party. What not to forget doing in the bridal party.
All right. So when you're giving your final numbers to your venue, always make sure that you give your bridal party. A lot of people forget to do this. So they give their 100 guests, but then they've forgotten bride, the groom, themselves, the 3 bridesmaids, the best man. All these people are included in your final numbers because you are paying for them. So don't forget to put them in your final numbers.
And the backup list.
As awful as this sounds, you will get people that can't come to your day. So it either means that you can keep your numbers lower and not, you're saving money in effect, or if you're on a package where you're paying for 50 people anyway, you could have a list of people that you would like to the day if other people dropped out. We've been on backup lists and we weren't offended, were we? We were actually pleasantly surprised when we did get invited and loved it.
All of this information, we can't do your guest list for you. This is all key information, but remember, it's your day, and although you want to please people and you want to keep everybody happy, it's about your special day and it's about you enjoying your day and not having people there who potentially will not make that happen. Have a look at our other videos. That is us for now. It's Kevin and Sam, Made It 94. Comment below if you've got any questions, if you've ever got any questions on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Like, follow, subscribe, and ask questions, because we love to answer and we can always put it out to other people to get some good answers as well. If you are just at the start of your journey, take a look at our other videos on how to get the best out of your specialists in the wedding industry. Photographers, videographers, florists, etc, etc.